For almost 4 decades, Nintendo has been putting out video games, and in those video games, one thing that they've been doing better than just about anybody else is creating memorable characters, and some of those characters are bad guys. And so today I want to rank the big bads from the different Nintendo series. We're doing one per franchise, so feel free to get mad at me about that in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get right to it. So we're going to start off with the number one, Bowser. Bowser is easily S tier. I think maybe the most recognizable bad guy in all of video games, right? And he plays a million different roles, right? He is the first guy, bad guy, the big bad guy that you fight in the series. He's been around since then in a million different forms. He's been gigantic, global size, like literally planet-sized bad guys before. Again, he's super huge in Super Mario Sunshine, but then at the same time, he's able to be complex enough where you get to play alongside him in different games, which for some people, maybe that would mark him down, but for me, that actually makes him a lot more fun and interesting as a bad guy. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the fact that Mario still goes go-karting with this guy, even though he's constantly throwing him into volcanoes and different things like that. Just makes me really, really like Bowser. Next up on the list is going to be the Duck Hunt dog. Hoo-wee. I hate this dog, and I know I'm not alone because I remember growing up, there were Flash games that people made online where it was just about shooting the dog, and I think it might be the only dog in all of like media where people are okay with it getting killed, right? Or the fact that they are rooting for it. Normally, a dog gets killed in a movie or a TV show, and people are upset about it, but this one they celebrate. He's not a very good villain, though. I'm gonna put him in F tier. A lot of it is just out of hatred. Don't like him, though he is kind of fun to play in Smash Bros. Ganon in all of his forms, Ganondorf. He's gonna be here, the third one that we're gonna talk about, and I'm gonna put him in S tier also. The Legend of Zelda game series, one of my favorites. I mean, talk about Resident Evil a lot on the series, on the channel, but man, I love the Zelda games, and I think he is a big reason why. He's kind of goofy at the beginning, big blue pig, but he's really transformed into, again, more of a deep character. He is just pure evil, though, which is another thing that I do like about him. There's no redeeming qualities when it comes to him. Super memorable boss fights, like maybe my favorite boss fight of all time, the end of Ocarina of Time. I'm not alone in thinking that. Just like that whole sequence. When you fight Ganondorf all the way through the castle, and then you fight Ganon in like in the rubble of the castle. But then also the final fight in Wind Waker. You know, sometimes they're a little more disappointing, like at the end of Breath of the Wild. The game's great, but that fight is a little bit underwhelming. But I definitely think that he is an S tier villain. Fourth one we're going to do is going to be a Mother Brain from the Metroid series. So this is where, you know, I'm making sure and stick to one per series because I could put Ridley in here too, but I really feel like Mother Brain is what we should go with because of the first game and then Super Metroid. Yeah, I don't know. It's a big brain, right? And then if you've ever seen like was it Captain N cartoon, Mother Brain is very odd in that, more like Audrey 2, right, from Little Shop of Horrors than what you would imagine the character to be like from the games. But just a big brain that you have to shoot a bunch of missiles into. Memorable, different looking than anybody else on our list, that's for sure. But for me, not S tier, not A tier. I'm going to give Mother Brain a B tier. Yeah, I do like Mother Brain more in Super Metroid when it's got a body, right? And it moves all crazy, like, because it's a giant sprite, so it's just like, Arr! Anyway, I don't know. I do like Mother Brain. I think it's cool. The next one, I don't know, you might not call a villain, right? But also it has the only distinction of being a real life person, and that is Mike Tyson from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Punch Out originated without Mike Tyson in the arcade and everything, but then you know, he's in it in the first version that a lot of people played, and he's very, very hard to beat. I know that a lot of people can do it. People have done it blindfolded, which is crazy to me, but I personally have never been able to beat Mike Tyson. Maybe I should just do that on stream, right? Should I just get good at Punch Out? That'd be kind of fun. But then again, if we're looking at Mike Tyson and as a human being, right? It's a little more complex, but he did like bite off a guy's ear in the middle of a boxing match. He did threaten to eat people's children, among numerous other things. I'm gonna put him in C tier, middle of the road. So that way, if there were a 1 in quadrillion, percent chance that he actually saw this video, then maybe he would take no offense to being in the middle, one way or the other. He wouldn't say, I'm way more evil than Bowser. How could you do this to me? Or like, how dare you say I'm more evil than the Duck Hunt dog? No, if he said either of those things, he'd be like, you're in the middle, Mike, Mr. Tyson. And he could be like, okay, that's fine. He seems like a cool guy. I don't know. He's definitely mellowed out in his old age, but not that much, because just recently he punched a guy on an airplane, so I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just going to hope he never, ever, ever sees this. Go back to pretend people with King Dedede from the Kirby games. He's a penguin, right? I mean, like, that's cool. He's got a big hammer. That's cool. He's fun to play in Smash Bros. That's good. He eats a bunch of food. Very cool. But he's definitely not as good as Bowser. I think I'm gonna put him at B tier also. He's gonna be below Mother Brain though. Because he's bad, right? He's still doing bad things. Just because something's cute doesn't mean that it can't be evil. And so that's where I'm gonna put him. Next up on the list is gonna be Andross from Star Fox. He's A. It's the easy thing to do because Andross starts with an A, right? So put him there. But also he's like a giant floating monkey head. He's actually legitimately kind of scary. Like, he wasn't always a giant floating monkey head. Like in the Super Nintendo version, he's just a silver face, which is definitely not as scary, and he wouldn't rank as high. But there's just something about like you blowing up a giant monkey head floating in space and then having like a skeleton like robot underneath it. It's pretty good stuff. He just wants to kill everything. It's always a good way to get put in pretty high on a tier list about being a bad guy. Next up is King K. Rool from Donkey Kong Country. Okay, he's stupid. Giant, like, he's a big guy. He always does a fake out move, right? Like, you think he's beat, but then he's like comes back to life, which I don't like, because it's like I get nervous. Oh gosh, but he's got that cool cape, and the music from his stage is really cool, like all piratey and everything. I think I'll put him C tier, and I'm gonna have him go below. No, he'll go above Mike Tyson. Yeah, that feels good. Man, imagine if Mike Tyson was a playable character in Smash Bros. That would be cool. And I'm not talking like a me version of him, like really Mike Tyson. That'd be all about that. Giovani from the Pokemon games is going to be my next one. I'm going to put him A tier above Andross, because he's a different kind of bad than like all these other ones, right? Like relatable, like realistic in a way that, like, which is weird to say about a Pokemon game, but he, is out to just make money and take advantage of people and steal inventions. Like, he is the one where I'm like, this is like real life. Like, he is the Elon Musk of Pokemon, right? He's just like a rich dude who's trying to steal other people's inventions. He's just bad. Bad. Watch out for rich people. But like, as evil as he is, I can't deny that he's like pretty cool. Right? He's a cool bad guy. Yeah, just look at him. He's got like that super cool black suit, and his Persian's all like hiding behind him. But the only reason Persian is a cool Pokemon is because it hangs out with Giovani. I'm just gonna say that, and that's for sure. So, Master Hand from Super Smash Brothers, I'm putting in D tier because I just don't think that it's got a lot going for it. It's a cool concept. It looks really cool. It's not fun to fight. I've always had this problem with Master Hand, Crazy Hand, right? The floating hands in the Smash Bros. Games where it's like, I'm supposed to be fighting something my size that I can grab onto and everything, and it just changes the whole way that the game is played, which I guess you could look at like a good thing. Like, you have to be good in a different way to beat him, but it just, I don't know, maybe I'm just not good at it, and so like I just kind of have to like jump and like chip away at its health just a little bit at a time, and that's just not a fun way to finish up those games to me. And so yeah, again, and like no real personality or anything, it's just a hand. So it's gonna be D tier. I don't even feel bad about it. Now this one I think I might be controversial on. Tom Nook from Animal Crossing. Because here's the thing. People like to make memes about Tom Nook being evil and taking advantage of us, but this is what I gotta say. Tom Nook gave me a loan for a house, told me that I could pay it back whenever I wanted, no interest, and then once I got done with that, he let me take out more loans to be able to expand my house. He sets up different programs to improve our town. He facilitates all that. I just don't see Tom Nook as a bad guy. I put him on this list because I think that if you're going to have a bad guy in Animal Crossing, it is Tom Nook. But I really don't think like he's a villain. I think he's misunderstood in that because he doesn't want to just give people free money, they get upset with him. I like Tom Nook, and I think he's got good fashion sense. I really enjoy his shirt and his shorts, and I think that we could be good friends. Also, he's got tired eyes, and obviously I can relate to that. So Tom Nook, we're talking about as villains, I'm going to put you in D tier, but know that I'm doing it out of love. The opposite reason why the Duck Hunt Dog is an F tier is why you're in D tier, Tom Nook, because I do not think you are really a villain. One of my favorite games of all time, Luigi's Mansion, introduces us to King Boo, and he is awesome. A big scary ghost who is the boss of other ghosts. I'm all about that. He hates Luigi. I'm all about that. Yeah, I'm a fan of King Boo. He's spooky, not too scary though, so that the kids don't, it's not too much for the kids, but he is definitely menacing, and he wants to kill Luigi. So, there's that. I think I'm going to put him in A tier. I don't think I can quite go all the way up to S. Yeah, I'm going to go there. I'll go top A tier for that one. I think that he's great. Here's another one that might be controversial, but can't think of another character who's given me a harder time when it comes to trying to beat them. If that's Matt from Wii Sports, you try to box this guy and tell me he's not the boss. This guy is in charge. And I don't know. I don't hate him. I think he's just good at it, right? It's like a mutual respect kind of thing between Rocky and Apollo Creed. You're like, you're the best. You're really good. Yeah, man, we respect each other because of that, but it doesn't mean we get along. We get in the ring together. We're still going to try to knock each other's heads off. That's what Matt's like, which I think is good when it comes to a sports competitor. In the same way that Mike Tyson, right? And so I feel like Mike Tyson and Matt from Wii Sports are cut from the same cloth. They're both incredibly powerful when it comes to boxing. They both are like no nonsense. I can't even remember for sure if we see Matt blink when he's in the ring. And equally, I hope that neither of them ever see this video so that they don't, try to kill me. So I'm going to put him right by Mike Tyson just because I think that they are pretty much equals. And then lastly, a game series I'm not that familiar with at all, but Splatoon gives us DJ Octavio, and he's like an octopus that is a DJ and has a big cool booth that he like shoots robot hands out of at you and everything. Personally, I can't put him too high because I don't really understand why he's trying to mess up stuff with the Inklings and everything. But the boss fights looked cool. It made me want to play Splatoon, so I really don't want to put it too low. I'm going to put him in D tier, top of D tier, because I'm also want to say I'm willing to learn and adjust that opinion, because he seemed pretty cool, but I don't know him well enough. The game looked fun to play, but it doesn't mean that the boss is that memorable. In fact, I had to like double check that Splatoon had like a big boss guy, because I didn't even know. So like that should say something about whether or not he's a good villain. Do you know about him even if you like aren't super familiar with the games? Like you have to barely know what Mario is before Bowser shows up, right? So that's just something. And that is the list. Did I leave somebody off? I'm sure you think I did. I'd love to hash that out in the comments below. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week when we put out another one. Until then, take care.